Okay, unmuted? Yeah. Right, good. Okay, so anything we, oh, wait a minute, let's alter the angle now. So you can sit down for a lot of this, what we're going to do. You can stay seated if you want. There's going to be some stuff that you definitely need to stand up, although quite a bit of it can be done seated. So it's see how you feel about it. The most important thing is you only do anything that feels comfortable to you. You don't overstretch, obviously, and you don't push yourselves too hard. It's very gentle. I'm going to do a mixture of Qigong and Tai Chi, including some breathing, good breathing practices, and get through as much as I can in the hour that we've got. And then you can ask some questions at the end. So I'll probably stop 5 minutes before so that you've got time to ask some questions. Right, so the first exercise you have to stand up for. It's really impossible to do it without standing up. I think a lot of the others you can, but so you're going to be standing there, your feet shoulder width apart, and all you're going to do is keep your weight in the middle of your feet and bounce. So you let your knees give slightly. Now don't try bouncing too hard, you just make it nice and loose, nice and easy and gentle on the knees, and you let your arms swing. Don't try and swing them like this. Don't go too hard. Just let them dangle and see where they go, more like, really. I mean, I agree. You could just leave them by your sides here. That's fine. Or you can let them move a little bit forwards and back. That's also fine. The main thing is that you are actually using your thigh muscles, which you may not feel, and your knees. Now, where your weight goes on the feet is very important. So you don't have the weight on the toes or the heels predominantly. You have it in the middle of the foot. So if that's your foot, as I keep bouncing, here's your toes, here's your heel, you've actually kind of got it centralized and equal between the 2 feet as well. And just relax. Kirsty, I can't read these. Something's just popped up on the screen. I can't read any of this stuff from this distance away. So I'm relying on you to chip in if there's something needs saying.
No problem. One of the participants just wanted to check that will some of the exercises be suitable for a wheelchair user? Obviously with the first one you said.
For people in wheelchair, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So it's just the first exercise that...
Just this one in particular, yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely, thanks.
Thank you.
So you just bounce gently, and you're looking for this area here, the thighs, to perhaps get a little bit, the muscles going, oh, I'm not sure about this. But we're not doing extreme stretching or extreme bending. It's all very, very gentle. So this exercise is much more about actually getting the muscles to start working here properly, to start to strengthen them, in fact, even. Okay, the second exercise. So this one can even, it depends if you've got arms on your wheelchair, I guess. So this one, you're going to just either stand, but you can also do it sitting, as I say, and you can turn your body left and right. Now, if you're sitting, you're only going to be turning from the waist because your bottom is sitting in a chair. So therefore, this will be from the waist. That's fine. Now I'm standing, so my knees are very, very slightly bent, just a tiny bit. This is merely more to allow flexibility in the legs. And for those of you standing, try and look at my knees. This is really bad on the knees. It's terrible. This is taking excess strain. This is not. So this is going to collapse. It's a collapsing leg, not good for you. So what I think of my knees pushing towards my toe, my knees pushing towards my toe. Yeah, just keep going, keep going. I'm just grabbing a chair. So if I'm sitting down doing this, I'm doing this. Now, obviously, knees are not an issue here at all. And I'm now more weight working from around here. So the exercise is very slightly different, but nonetheless, it's still beneficial. So every now and again, I'll grab the chair and, demonstrate how you need to think it with a chair. So there's those two exercises. Those are the only two loosening up exercises I'm going to do. There are millions upon millions of warm-up exercises. So let's repeat them. So the first one is bouncing. Okay, so if you're in a chair on this one, you can't, keep going, you can't obviously do the bouncing part. But what you can do, you can use it as an arm exercise. So you're here. Now, I'm doing this in the same way that you're doing it. So if you're standing, so when I stand, I think the spine, the end of my spine, but my knees are going to bend, dropping, dropping, dropping as the arms drop. Okay, if I'm sitting, I can do a similar idea. I can feel drop the spine, relax my pelvis, relax my pelvis, relax my pelvis, relax it, etc., etc. So you can, to a certain extent, do this exercise sitting down. It's not the same, obviously, but in a funny way, part of it is the same. Keep going. So when you do this, it's about lengthening your spine. This exercise is about lengthening your spine as well as strengthening knees, legs. So I'm thinking the tip of my tailbone just going, doom, dropping on the floor, dropping, 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 dropping down. And as I do the drop, I relax the back of my neck. So what happens is, if any of you have ever done any Alexander technique, you'll know there's a lot about allowing the spine to lengthen. So when I do that and I relax the back of my neck, the spine feels like it goes, dum, 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 dum. I hope it doesn't make the noise as well. So very relaxed. Second one, turning. Now I'm thinking this movement because I'm standing from here. I'm thinking that turning predominantly. This follows that. Shoulders follow the hips turning. If I'm sitting down, I can't do that because my hips are fixed on the chair. So then I think of my shoulders. But if you are standing, please try and lead with this because it alters the exercise completely. Now, oddly enough, this exercise is more about the top of your spine here because your head is not moving. So therefore, the whole bottom part of the spine is moving. And therefore, this starts to get a massage. Now, when you're sitting down, the pelvis doesn't move. The movement all comes from here. And although the head doesn't move, it just lifts the point of massage up to the middle of the spine here in the lower thoracics. Okay, relax, it's fine. We're going to do a grounding exercise. You can do this sitting down, you can do it standing up. Okay, so however you like. There's not a lot to see here, incidentally. So you can almost close your eyes, but I would suggest you don't if you're standing. You leave them half open. So you've kind of got, just through half closed eyes, you've got a horizon of sorts. So get your weight in the middle of your feet. Now, if you're sitting down, notice the chair you're sitting on. The weight is on the middle of your feet. If you're sitting down, feel the sitting bones. So the bottom of your pelvis, you've got two little bumps. And they are the bits you actually sit on. So if you are in a chair, don't slump back in the chair. Don't rest your back against the back of the chair. Try and have your spine upright, because what we're trying to do is the crown of the head here should be a vertical line going all the way down, if you're standing, to between the 2 feet. If you're sitting, it'll be down to between the 2 sitting bones. And you breathe. Now, this is all for the standing people. Your knees slightly unlocked. Now, what that means is, would you please just bend your knees forwards first? Okay, stand up. Now lock your legs gently backwards. And I say gently because I expect some of you can lock them back. I mean, I can hyperextend my legs backwards as well to a certain extent. You know, I can push them back, but this is locking. We don't want that. So we don't want bent forwards. We don't want locked backwards. You want in the middle. That means that the bone, the femur, is passing straight down through the tibia into the ankle. so that the line connects through. The bones, in a sense, become one bone, whereas if you bend them forwards, they're definitely divided, or lock them back, they're definitely hinged. So we need the line of pressure to run equally down. Now, for those of you, because of the EDS, it's well worth becoming really conscious of this when you are just standing up. There are loads of those classic postures that people stand in when they want to kind of relieve the pressure off their body. What they do is they go, oh, I'll do side on. They go like that. Okay, so this is a dreadful posture. My crown of my head is no longer in the middle. It's the body has done this. It's done a kind of a bend, a C shape, or the other side, obviously. And the other thing they do is with the legs, people tend to, when they get tired on the legs, they go, ooh, and they push the legs backwards and lock the legs up. It's just to try and save the small of their back is why they're doing it, because you know you're standing for a while. So, and this applies, frankly, it's not just to people with the syndrome. It's also to everybody, because everybody has these habits. So here, don't lock backwards, don't bend forwards, find the line straight down, and now drop your hip bones into your 2 feet. So your bottom feels really heavy. So let your pelvis feel as though it's dropping down. And I'm talking about the bone structure here. I'm talking about this part here, these 2 hip bones. Stay there a second, obviously you will. So here you are. Here's your hip bones. I'm talking about let the hips sink down, feel like they're settling into the leg you're standing on, or legs you're standing on. So down, everything drops. And your shoulders feel like they're falling into the hip bones, which are falling into the feet. Check where your weight is. It might have gone over the toes. And bring it back in the middle. So if your posture tends to be like this, maybe not that much, but if you tend to lean forwards, because most people do this rather than this. So if your posture tends to lean forwards, you're going to find your weight tips over your toes a little bit more all the time. So we're trying to get the crown upright above the midpoint between the 2 feet. So legs not forwards or back, get them, find the middle. Hips drop into the feet, connect. Shoulders drop into the hips, into the feet, connect. And relax the back of your neck, really crucial. And your arms should feel really heavy. Drop them. Either side of you. So each of your arms weighs about, well, anywhere between 8 to 10 pounds. Can't do it in kilos, I'm afraid. 8 to 10 pounds. You know, what's that? 4 bags of flour, 5 bags of flour. Depends on your size. So feel how heavy your arms are and let them go. And feel the fingertips and let them go. And your thumbs. Feel as though your fingers are actually falling off your palms. Feel as if your hands are falling off your wrists. Just let them hang. Now you might get a tingly sensation going on in your palms, your fingers, your thumbs, maybe your arms as well. Great. Allow it to happen. So all we're doing is allowing the muscles and the tendons just to undo rather than you actually forcing them to undo. We're just letting gravity help us here. And gravity is helping you into the floor as well, so that everything settles and you're what we call grounding. You're doing what's called grounding. And you breathe, preferably in and out through the nose, but if you can't, use the mouth. And this is a simple grounding exercise. If you have trouble sleeping, you can do it lying in your bed. You just do the same idea. You feel heavy on the bed, you let go your shoulders, you let go your hips, you feel the weight of your legs lying on the bed, and you just allow the body to settle. And for people with insomnia, this is a nice trick, combined with breathing to help you go to sleep, possibly. Right, so we've done some grounding. This is the basic posture of Tai Chi and Qigong. Basically, just upright. It's upright. No, don't push your chin forward. Don't stick your bum backwards. Don't keep your weight on one side. You know, you've got everything is just settling down. And when you do that, your body is using the least energy necessary to hold it upright. As soon as you start doing this, suddenly this part of your body, which weighs more than the rest, is dying to go down like this. It wants to fall. So therefore the back muscles all tense up to stop you falling forwards. When you hold your head like this, your head weighs about 11 pounds. So when it hangs, your neck muscles start tensing up and your shoulders start to tense up and your shoulder blades lift slightly at the back. The body starts to overwork. So what I'm trying to get you to do is just to be very, very conscious, and I'm sure most of you are, because with EDS, you're going to be very conscious of how you hold your body and what you're doing with it all the time. But notice this upright position, and it's actually extremely useful. When you're in that shop waiting to buy something, even when COVID's on, you're still doing that. So when you're waiting at the till or something, just think, oh, how am I standing? What am I doing with my body? Have I relaxed my knees? Particularly, have I relaxed the knees? Because when you bend them forwards, that's not such an issue. But when you lock them back, this all tenses up. Your bum tenses up and the back of your neck in as well. Okay, so what we're now going to do is I'm going to do 2 Qigong exercises with you. Now, these are very simple. They're for the general health, and they're also about posture as well, but we'll see. So here goes the first one. Feet shoulder width. Put your hands flat to the floor like this. So we're in at the wrist. Yeah, slightly in at the wrist. No, yes. And push your hands across the floor in front of you, lifting them up to shoulder height. Now then, let your elbows bend. Feel like the elbows are heavy and bend your knees and sit down. Push the hands across the floor again. Lift up, let the wrists be floppy, and now let the elbows sink and sit down. Now, this actually is very like the first move of a Tai Chi form, but there are some subtle differences. So it's really easy, isn't it? You just push away and you lift up and you let the arms sink, leading down with the elbows. So we get that action, like a wave, like a bird flying. You know, when a bird flies, it does not do this. The bird lifts from the end of the wing, well, sort of the end of the wing, that joint, and then the bird will do that with its arms next to create a pressure of air here, and the air shoots out down the arm and it pressurizes the air, which gives it lift, and then the bird goes, tip of the wings drop and lift. So this movement it comes in Tai Chi and it comes in Qigong all the time. And it's what you might call a way the natural world works. So here we are, palms flat. Now then, there's a few other things about this. There's an in-breath and an out-breath. When you breathe in, try and breathe in through the nose. When you breathe out, try and breathe out through the nose. The nose, yeah. Okay, so this is all to do with your central nervous system. So you've got 2 parts of your nervous system. You've got the parasympathetic and you've got the sympathetic. And the parasympathetic is the one that we want to calm down, because that's the one that is highly responsible for inflammation in the body. And we're constantly trying to, in Tai Chi and Qigong, you're always trying to get that to calm down so that the body softens and the system, all the body systems, in fact, can work more efficiently. So this is an exercise where we can practice this. So bend your knees a little bit. Now, if you're sitting in a chair, this is fine. You just do the action with the hands and you come up and you sink the elbows and you're down again. So if I'm in my chair, so I push forwards, lift up, and I sink elbows. And as I sink elbows, I let my bottom settle into the chair, relaxing the neck. Okay, that's the chair seated version. there's a subtlety to this, which both people, whether they're seated or standing, can do. Watch me from the side. So my hands are flat and I push the hands forward. And as I do so, I rock slightly forwards onto my toes. Now my heels haven't come off the ground, but I'm definitely pressurized the toes. And I feel as though I'm doing this with my toes. Sucking the floor, not curling the toes round, as if there's the floor, I'm going, the noise is me sucking the floor with my feet, okay? So I do that, there's a feeling of with your feet, yeah? It's almost like you're sliding your toes slightly, don't overdo it, just a tiny bit. So bend your knees, and if you're sitting down in a chair, don't bend your knees. Well, they'll be bent anyway. So you rock slightly onto your toes and you do that suction thing. Now then, if you're in a chair, you can rock slightly forwards. You can suction the floor. Now then, go back into the middle of your feet. And now, settle down. Rock onto your toes slightly, suction the floor, push the hands away, lift up. This is breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Onto the toes, don't lift your heels, suction. Now release and back in the middle of your feet, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, rock onto your toes, squeeze them, back in the middle, and suction. Okay, so I've got one more thing to add into this exercise. And this is the most crucial bit of all. I've deliberately left it to last because it's quite difficult. So give it a go, and you can do this whether you're on a chair or standing up. You need to do a pelvic tilt. If you've done any Pilates, you know what I'm talking about. You need to lift the core here at the front. It's like you zip yourself up at the front. So now just put your fingers on your pubic bone, find the pubic bone, and put your thumbs on your tummy button. We don't need two hands. You can do it with one hand. So pubic bone, tummy button. I'm going to sit down, but I'm not going to do it yet. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and lift the pubic bone up towards my tummy button. Okay, I'll demonstrate how much I managed. So I'm going to leave one hand fixed and the other hand, so there's the distance. Hang on, let me turn it over. That is the distance between the pubic bone and the tummy button. Now then, without bending my knees, when I lift the pubic bone up towards the tummy button, okay, done it. So look at this, watch. That's how much I managed to lift it. Okay, the next stage is, because there's a couple of stages here. So I'm standing up normally, and you can be doing this with me if you like. So without bending my knees, I lift the pubic bone up towards my tummy button. Okay, now the gap's closed here a little bit, it's just here. Now then, I let my knees bend and I lift the pubic bone even further up. So I'm trying to put the pubic bone on my tummy button. Okay, look, that's the distance now. It's considerably reduced. When I do that up at the front, the back lengthens and tucks under. That is a pelvic tilt. In effect, what you've done with your pelvis is you've gone and ignored the spine because it's going to go all wrong. There's the pelvis in normal position. Incidentally, there are the sitting bones right on the end here. Those are called that's an ischium, your two ischium. I assume it's ischia for the plural. And you have just gone, tuck the pelvis under like that. So those two sitting bones actually rock forwards. Now then, some of you will be super flexy doing this, in which case you need to be very careful. Because what happens is, when you tuck the pelvis under like this part of your spine here starts to straighten out. Great, yeah, we want that, but you don't want it to go too far. So if you're super flexy in that area, just be a bit cautious how much you're doing it, because this is not an issue for you. Possibly it's an issue because you can do it too well, but that's what you want, this tucking under, but just careful. So you're standing up, forget the hands, lift the pubic bone up without the knees bending, and now let them bend and tuck your bottom under. Lift up here, let that go underneath, and stand up. And this is actually what you do when you sit down on a chair. Every single time you sit down, you naturally do that, but you perhaps don't notice it. Because if you don't do it, I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but there's a bar stool or something, you know, quite a high bar stool, and you don't realize that it's as high as it is. And you sit down without tucking your bum under, you sit and go, ooh, you jar your spine because the stool was higher than you expected. So actually, you naturally do this, but we're actually making this happen now, consciously making it happen. Right, so put your hands flat. You're about to bend your knees before we even start. So lift up the pubic bone and let the pelvis tuck under, let your knees bend. Okay, we tucked under. Right, here we go. Breathing in, you're gonna rock onto your toes very gently, squeeze the floor, push the hands away. And now, up you come, straighten your legs and you're back in the middle. Pelvis has gone back to normal. Now then, here we go. Lift the pubic bone up and sit down, tuck under, and we've sat down again. And you're going to breathe in at the same time, rock onto your toes, lift up, breathing in, back on the middle, and breathing out, sink. Tuck under, pubic bone, and just let your hands go back to your sides. Stand up. That's it. That's the first Qigong exercise. Qigong, very complex. It can be complex. I mean, I'm throwing everything at you just so you get an idea of what's going on. And as Kirsty said, it's all going to be on video, so you can always revisit this if you want to. Second exercise. Now, this can be done also sitting, but you'll notice there's some stepping in this exercise, which you obviously won't be doing. So I'll show you how to do the seated version in a second. For the moment, turn your body to the left. Sorry, I'm in mirror. If I turn that way, that's your left. So I'm turning to your left. Turn your body left, lift the hands up, turn back to the front, bend your knees and sit down. That incidentally was a pelvic tilt. So I lifted up there, tucked bum under. Okay, once again. Turn left, lift the arms, corner, back to the front, pelvic tilt, sink. You're now going to free this foot up and you're going to step to the corner. As you just move onto it and you push the hands over the leg towards the corner. Yep. If you're sitting down, it's going to be this. Have a gap between the feet and you're just going to go. Well, you have to have the hands on the top to start, okay? Because otherwise they're going to get caught on your legs. So you turn, front, sink, turn back, push. So you can feel immediately you're mainly working around here. Now, we're not getting that. Those of us standing up, we are getting it a little bit, but not to the same extent. But for you, this has added benefits because your pelvis isn't moving. Here's your colon around here. So you're actually massaging the digestive organs. So for you, this is more of a digestive exercise. Whereas for us, it's going to be more of an exercise for the lungs, strangely enough, if we're standing. Ready? Feet together. Turn your body to the left, lift up, turn back to the front. Now, pelvic tilt and let the elbows sink. See how the elbows are going down first? Release the foot, place it not very far to the corner, just a little bit comfortable, and now move onto it and push. Notice my wrists are in at the moment. I haven't done that yet. As I sit back, I push the fingertips away, I lift the toe of the foot and I turn back to the front. I now sink into this pelvic tilt, and I push back into the corner again. We've done the exercise. This is it. Release the fingers, sitting back. This is a start of a pelvic tilt, more pelvic tilt, and push. Release the fingers, sitting back. Turn, you're now going to bring your foot in. Bring it in, and now put it down as you stand. Okay. There's breathing in this, but it's really straightforward. I'll just demo it first. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. It's easy, isn't it? I mean, it's not complex. So now let's try it to the other side. No difference. To your right. It's the same principle. We're just going to go right first. So turn to the right, breathing in, back to the front, pelvic tilt, sink. Place your foot. Breathing out, now move. Now keep your back heel flat. Breathing in, pelvic tilt, sit back, more pelvic tilt, turns back to me, and now turn back to the corner again and push, breathing out. Breathing in through the nose, release the wrists, sit back, settle. Breathing out, push through the nose. Breathing in, we're going to bring the foot in. So settle into your back foot, release the front foot. See, I'm still here. Toe down, ball of foot, heel. That's it. Qigong exercise. So you've got a couple of Qigong exercises. It explains a little bit about it. And we're going to move on because I've got a lot more to get through. So we're going to do some breathing. So we're going to do a good way of breathing about how there are lots of ways of breathing, and this is one of them. So you will need a chair. Oh, you don't have to. You can do it standing up if you like, but it's a little bit better sitting down. So the first thing here is don't slump back on your chair. That's quite important. You just got your spine upright, yeah? Just get your spine upright. So a stool, ideal. If those of you who like to sit on the floor, just get your spine upright, cross-legged, fine. It's all right. Standing, even that's okay. Breathing. Right, so if you've got the nose, you've got the sinuses, yeah? And behind the nose as well, behind the bridge. So you've got the sinuses in the forehead, you've got sinuses here, sinuses at the back of the bridge of the nose, behind, halfway into the head, not quite halfway, but anyway. So the first thing you're going to do is just breathe into the nasal cavity. Just fill it. Obviously you're breathing into the lungs, aren't you? But your focus is here. Okay, so breathe in and breathe out through the nose. And just notice the air passing over the nostrils, the inside of those membranes, in and out. Okay, it's fine. We don't have to spend hours on this. So you breathe in through the nose, you feel it wash around the nasal cavity, but then you feel it wash around the sinuses. You feel as though you're bathing your own sinuses, and of course the air will go to here, okay? But ignore that. And you do it again when you're ready. So we're focusing on here, here, as though you're actually washing around those areas inside your head and clearing them. Yeah, in and out through the nose if possible. The air then goes to the throat. So we go nasal cavity, sinuses, throat. And you just breathe out when you're ready. Yeah, and then, okay, just keep breathing normally for a second. The next bit, okay, so then it hits the lungs. Now, most people only breathe in the top part of their lungs. They only breathe up here. Now, I don't know if you have how much you know about your lungs, but the lungs split into two, obviously, which you probably do know, but they have little, like cauliflower florets in, you know, there's like, broccoli florets or whatever, and they're called the alveoli, and they're the bit that absorb the oxygen out of the air. So when you breathe, you actually want to get the oxygen right down into where the cauliflower florets, want a better word, the alveoli are. They aren't really up here very much. They're not up, there are one or two, but it's really, the majority is down here, down in the bottom of the lungs. So a lot of people who breathe very high have to breathe 2, 3, 4 times as fast as people who breathe deeply, maybe more. I've done tests in classes with this, and you know, we've done a minute of breathing, and some people did 2 breaths a minute, 1 or 2 did 1.5 breaths a minute, and majority of people did 9, 10, and 1 or 2 did 30. So that means they're really breathing high. They're not really using the capacity of their lungs at all. It just, you know, it's not so good for you. I mean, it's not so good for your health. So what we do is, you're going to breathe just up to here. You're going to fill the top part of your lungs first. You're going to feel as though the breastbone separates, as though your collarbones are filling with air. We're deliberately breathing too high, okay? So in through the nose, bathe the sinuses, down the throat and the collarbone. Now, you might have felt that your breastbone pushed forward a little bit, maybe. Not a lot else happens because you can't really go sideways very much, but we're trying to. So once again, so. Okay, so assuming you were able to breathe up here, you actually run out of breath quite quickly. You need to breathe out to get the next one in. Let's lower it a bit. So find what's called your xiphoid process. Now, the xiphoid process is the tiny little bone at the base of the sternum. So here's the top of your sternum, that hole, put a finger on it. And here's that little bone at the bottom, a little bit uncomfortable maybe. It's quite a long bone, isn't it? So we're going to breathe to about halfway in the middle of that bone. Okay, so find the halfway point. There's actually an acupuncture point there, right in the middle. We're going to breathe, put a finger on it. If you find a slightly sore place in the middle of your breastbone, that's where you're going to breathe to, okay? So you can leave a finger there if you like. In through the nose, bathe sinuses, throat, and down to this point in the middle of your breastbone, and then breathe out. And again. So if you can feel some movement going on there, great, once more. Okay, now find your xiphoid process below that, the little bony protrusion down the bottom there. And it is literally a little bone like that, which hangs down. Okay, put your finger on it. Okay, don't have to press hard, just put your finger gently on it. Okay, you're breathing down to there. Yeah, just do a couple of breaths or something. Okay, that's fine. Leave your finger there for a second. Now your rib cage, put the other hand on as well. Actually trace your rib cage now. It goes down, and so do the lungs. The lungs hang downwards either side here. So now, would you find under your rib cage here and just gently, very gently, put your fingers under your rib cage or feel the rib there if you can. Okay, then leave them there. That's where you're breathing to. So in through the nose, sinuses, throat, down to there. Okay, so now what starts to happen is you feel your abdomen expanding, and that's what you want. So this is how you were born breathing. Babies, if you're a newborn baby, you put a hand on its tummy, it will go up and down on its tummy. The chest will not. Well, a little bit, but this really works. Okay, so you don't need to have your hands there anymore, but you could put a hand just over your tummy button, other one as well if you like, and in through the nose, sinuses, throat, and bottom of the ribs, and then feel any movement that's happening underneath your hands, and then just breathe out through the nose, and then again. Okay, so we're very obviously putting our hand on the front of the body, but actually what happens is when the air goes down into the lungs expand not just forwards, not just sideways, but also backwards as well. Similarly here, when the lungs push down, here it doesn't just go forwards. Actually, if you put your hands now on your waist, okay, ready? In through the nose, sinuses, etc., all the way down. Can you feel the sides of your body expanding as well? Down here, underneath your ribs, where there are no lungs. Yeah, okay, that's right, that's fine. Now, if you were able to put the back of your hand on your back, which you probably can, put the back of your hand on your back and one on the front, does it go back and forwards as well? Is there an expansion at the back? Okay, in through the nose, sinuses, throat, bottom of the lungs, etc. So we're now starting to do something called kidney breathing, because your kidneys are pretty much where your hand is on your back. They're sort of around that area, and you can feel movement possibly going on around there. So do a couple of them. Notice how the sides also are expanding. Perhaps that's why they call it your spare tire. It's all the way around. Yeah, and once more. And this is far, far healthier breathing. Don't force it, but what you need to do is get the lungs to bear downwards gently. And if you take the air to here, your diaphragm is a muscle like this, like a bell tent forwards and backwards and left and right and all the way around actually. So when you breathe in, what happens is the bell tent goes, and then you breathe out. And that's what takes place. So your breathing compresses the bell tent and then you release it. And of course, when the bell tent compresses, this expands. What else can it do? It has to. And it's very good for your health. The more you can do it, the better. Right, so that's a little bit on breathing. There are all sorts of other types of breathing as well. Things like reverse breathing, where you actually do the reverse of what we've just done on the in-breath. But they have particular uses, and they're breaths that you use yourself all the time. You even use reverse breathing without realizing it on certain circumstances. But anyway, another time. We're now going to do some Tai Chi. Much of this, I think you'll be able to do sitting down as well, if not all of it. Yeah, you can do all of it because you can do sitting in a chair. So hang on, let me just readjust my screen slightly after that. Good. So I'm going to talk as if you're standing, but because it's easier than keeping saying now, if you're sitting, you're going to feel this, because frankly, if you're sitting, it's not going to make a lot of difference. You're going to do the hand movements and you'll get the idea in a second. So those of you sitting down, keep your feet where they are comfortably apart, okay? Now, for the rest of us, if you're standing up, step to your left to a shoulder's width. And the hands wrap around the front. Now lift the wrists. And now bend your knees and sit down. Where we had that before, it was the Qigong exercise. So you do it the same. It is actually the same thing in effect, except for one small detail where you bring the hands to the front and then you lift from the front of the legs. Otherwise, it's the same. The Qigong, we were here and we pushed across the floor. We are not rocking onto the toes on this movement. You definitely don't rock onto the toes. So in that respect, it differs. Okay, so we've stepped out. The hands go around the front. You do your pelvic tilt. So tuck under. Start tucking under, start tucking under, start tucking under, keep tucking under, and now tuck under even more so your knees are made to bend, and sit down 50-50 in the middle of your feet. And there we are. Move one. This is the first move out of virtually every Tai Chi form that there is. Sort of. That's not absolutely true, but I should think it out of 85% probably of Tai Chi forms. So once again, hands go round the front and you lift. Now pelvic tilt without the knees bending. Lift the pubic bone up. Keep lifting it up. Now your knees have to bend in order to do that. Your elbows are sunk and you're sitting down. Okay, now just stand up for a second. You've got your hands like this. We all have, standing or seating. Okay, so I'm in at the wrist here, in at the wrist. The next movement, you're going to feel like you're wiping sideways. So you imagine you've got an ironing board here, you just dumped a shirt on, it's got loads of creases on it, and you're getting the creases out of the ironing board. I can't stand ironing myself personally, but I have done it. So that's the feeling. It's like stretch the creases out left and right, okay? So keep standing for a second, we won't worry about the legs for a minute. Spread the arms and bring them up to shoulder height. Yep, good. Okay. Now, as they go to shoulder height, the hands are like this when you begin, but as you lift them, look at the hands, they're beginning to turn palms to face the front. Yep, ready? So you're there, forget your legs, do your ironing, and let the fingers get lengthen. And now just rotate the arms and start so the palms are beginning to face the front. You're now going to bend your, hang on, I've got to do mirror. You're going to bend your right arm and you're going to allow it to fold And at the same time, your left arm is going to carry on turning palm up. Notice how the elbow is doing the work, which makes the shoulder work. If I just do that with the hand, nothing's happening here, because I can, and so can you. But actually, when you do this, put your hands like this, palms face forward, palms facing me. Don't fold an arm, just do the twist. Elbows twisting in and back. Elbows and back. Once more, elbows and back. Yeah, so when you do that, this hand here is going to do that. See where it is? By my ear, roughly, my cheek. This still did a twist inwards, but the arm folded as well. So it does something different to the left hand here. So we're going to do it with the legs. Ready? Push the hands in front of you. Pelvic tilt starting now with no knee bending. Pelvic tilt continues, but the knees now want to bend because you can't do any more pelvic tilting without. Now, do your ironing, stay sitting down, do your ironing, turning the palms gradually. Now bend your right elbow and keep the left hand turning. So we're now palm up and this hand is here. Okay? Okay, so there is more to it, of course. There's always more to it. Watch me a second. I'm going to do it correctly. So hands in front, up. So I'm going to speed through this a little bit because you know this bit. I'm now going to turn my body and do the splitting, the ironing. And now I'm going to fold. So look, I've turned my body that way. Now, what tends to happen is when you do the turn, when you did the ironing like this, it was dead easy, wasn't it? You do it with me. So your hands are down here, split the hands and turn palms to face me is fine. Stay there, don't move. You see how my arms are both in front of me slightly, but when you do it with turning the body, what tends to happen is this. Watch me. I'm going to do it badly. I'm going to go that way deliberately so I don't want you to follow. I don't want you to copy. So when I go here, people tend, oh, hang on a second. I'm going to go here and they split the hands and they turn and they try and pull this arm behind them. Now, this is really bad on the joint. The joint hates it, doesn't like it, because suddenly you haven't got the arms both in front of you like you had a second ago. So your challenge is when you turn the body to the side, see if you can keep the feeling of the hands in front of you still. Look, that arm, it's not over here. That's me pulling the arm backwards. It's there, right? So sit down. You're going to turn to your right and you're going to do that ironing, split the arms, turn the palms. Now, bend your right arm and let your left arm turn palm up. And now, turn back to the front again and let the left arm sink and the right arm pushes towards your screen. Look at the posture. That height, index finger, tip of nose. Try again. Turn. Bend your arm. And now turn back. Now, from a martial arts point of view, which I know you don't want to know, but it does, if you know what you're doing, it kind of helps. So if you imagine, yeah, let me just borrow my son. Okay, so if you imagine that, oh, he's going that way, right? It's a push and pull thing. You imagine you've got a rope around a tree, right? And it's in a circle, it's tied up, you're going to in a circle, and you pull one end of the rope, and oh, this arm goes forwards because you pull one end of the rope. That's exactly the same in this movement. So if Josh punches at me here, yeah, here, so I take hold of his arm, I turn it, and then I'm pulling him in whilst pushing towards him. just once more. So the idea is I take hold of his arm, turn it. This one folds. This is now palm up here on this arm. And then as I pull him with that hand, this one at the same speed goes back towards him. Thank you very much. Thank you. So in other words, you've got something coming forward, something going backwards, but they are equal. That's the important thing. It's not turn and then go 1, 2. That's unequal. They are absolutely timed. And of course, it's all to do with the turn of the body. So here we go. So sit down, copy me, bend your knees, and we just sat down. Turn to the right and do your ironing. Turning your palms to face the garden, well, the garden in my case. Turn your palm up on the left hand, the right hand's by your ear. And now, as you turn your body back, one hand is pushing forward and the other hand is just dropping slightly and going downwards and close. The great thing about Tai Chi and Qigong is the less you do, the more efficient it is. So what I don't think about doing this with my arms. I don't think about it. It's not important. What I think about is I think about my body turning back. And look, this arm is attached to this shoulder, I hope. So when I turn the body back, let's just put it here, for example. When I turn my body back, look what happens. That hand starts to come towards you. And obviously this hand, which was near you, as I turn the body, it starts to come back. So I focus on the body turning rather than just doing this with the hands. Okay, sit down. Turn to your right and do your ironing. Palms turning. Bend your right arm, left hand turns palm up, stay there. You can look back at your screen. And now simply turn your body back. Don't worry about your arms. Just turn the body back. What's happening? Your right arm's going towards the screen, your left hand's coming back. Just drop your left hand very slightly and look, you've done it correctly. If you followed. I can't see you, so I haven't got a clue. Okay, so just to finish, let's just go through that little bit. Feet together. Step to the side. Okay, the hands go around the front. Go lift. And pelvic tilt. Yeah, more pelvic tilt. Your knees are bending. You ready? You're going to do your ironing. Turn the body. Turn and split. Now turn your palms. Now bend your right arm. Left hand turns palm up and take a look at your screen. Okay, now simply turn your body back and relax your arms. Really soft. And square up again. And you've done a little bit of Tai Chi. Tai Chi, Qigong, very similar in lots of ways. You know, they say that Qigong is like the heart of Tai Chi. It teaches you how to really use the body. So that when you're learning Tai Chi, if you understand pelvic tilting, you can easily put it in. But some people like to just do Tai Chi because it's more active, and some people like to do Qigong because it's not so active. So, you know, that's it. Intro. Let's just do a quick closing session. Very simple. Feet shoulder width apart. You breathe in. And you just fold the arms over and soften your knees rather than bend them, and breathe out. So we're not really doing any knee bending here, but you are relaxing the knees. Where's your weight? Check it. It should be in the middle of your feet. And breathing out. Relax and soften the back of your neck. And breathing in. And breathing out. And just put your hands either side of your tummy button or on your tummy button. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out through the nose. And back to your sides. Thank you. So if you have any questions, I've got 5 minutes or so. You can, you're very welcome to ask anything you want, or tell Kirsty or whatever, and she'll ask me.
Hi James, thanks for that. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, if you want to just pop them in the chat, I can go through those. We do have a little bit of time left if anyone has anything. they'd like to ask. One question is, please can you spell Qigong?
Qigong. Okay, Qigong. Qigong. So there are other ways of spelling it. That's the pinyin way, the modern Chinese way of spelling it. Q is pronounced a CH. Qi is QI. Gong means exercise or work. Qi means breath or energy. So yeah.
Thank you. Anything else from anyone else? Give you a few minutes to come out of the session and have a think and pop them in the chat. Everyone was so absorbed in the session, nobody's had a chance to pop anything in, which is good.
Yeah, it's all right. If there's no questions, it's fine.
We've got a thank you from one of our members. Absolutely no worries. I hope you really enjoyed the session. We've had previous ones which were also great success, so thank you for running this, James. Please can I have James's details to understand the sessions he runs? I think I've got the link to your website here, which I can pop into the chat.
Well, I teach in Kent anyway. I teach in Sevenoaks, so I teach in Longfield and Sevenoaks actually. I mean, I teach in London. I live in London, but I used to live in Sevenoaks, and or actually, I used to live up near West Kingsdown-ish in the Otford Hills. But so therefore, I had classes going on. I've got 9 classes normally in Kent every week. Where do I teach in Sevenoaks? I teach in Sevenoaks. I teach at St Luke's Church Hall on Erdley Road, and I also teach at the Knoll Academy.
Great, thank you. Another of
But
our
if
members,
Kirsty gives you my, oh sorry, Kirsty, go on.
I was just going to say another of our members has asked if you normally practice with music while you're doing your classes.
Oh yeah, I saw that question come up. Yeah, do I practice with music? Well, it depends a little bit on what it is. Yes, I mean, I certainly use music with the Qigong sets sometimes when we do the whole thing. But you know, when I'm actually teaching, well, you've heard how much I talk, so it's like incessant talk. No, but when we're just running through stuff, yeah, sometimes.
Great, thank you. One of our members has asked if you do any teaching near Canterbury.
No,
Thank you.
I don't, but I'm on Zoom. I mean, I'm running Zoom classes. I've got one tonight, got one tomorrow lunchtime.
Yeah, so I've popped the link to your website in the chat. So if anyone is interested and wants to have a look, they can.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on the homepage about that.
Thank you. Anything else from anyone else? What is the minimum amount of sessions to benefit, and how frequently when you're doing it at home would you suggest?
Okay, that's one of those. I used to be a music teacher. I mean, I still play piano, but it's one of those questions about like, if you learn an instrument, how much you practice? Well, it depends how good you want to get. You know, it's like that really. I mean, if you use the word benefit. So I personally think for me, I feel good if I just do 15 minutes practice. To be honest, I feel great because once you start using the body correctly, it just works, and it gets what the Chinese would say, it gets your qi flowing. So there's no answer to that question. For some people, 15 minutes maybe. For other people, do an hour's practice. How often should you do it? How quickly do you want to get to grips with it? Really, I'm sorry, I can't. There's no specific answer to that.
And I think part of that is also
a string one.
Yeah, I think part of that is also listening to your own body and what your body's telling you.
It is listening to your own body, what it can cope with. Yeah, you're right. Something about the Alexander technique.
Yes, you mentioned the Alexander technique. Do you know of any Kent practitioners?
Yeah, I do. Yes, one of my students, but I'm not sure. Well, she won't be practicing at the moment, that's for sure. But I can certainly put you in touch with her. But you'd need to email me, and then I'll do it. She's called Chris. So if that person, whoever asked that question, wants to email me, you can email me direct. Okay, so someone else has said. Okay, well, there's an answer.
So we've had another question for the best exercise for dizziness.
Do that breathing exercise and do it sitting down.
Brilliant.
Just work on breathing and work on settling the body and your core, basically settling the core, relaxing the neck specifically. But when I say relaxing the neck, I don't mean, this is, you've got to really let go of that syndrome and allow the neck to feel like it's undoing. Again, this is Alexander's technique. I did a lot of Alexander technique in the past, which is why I mentioned it. Yes, for dizziness, yeah. It's related a lot. I personally think it's related a lot to your central nervous system. I know dizziness in acupuncture, because I trained as an acupuncturist as well. Dizziness and the heart often go together. But the heart and the central nervous system, obviously very closely interlinked. So my personal view is that just doing really, really good breathing is key. And the great thing is with breathing, you can do it while you're driving, because you can just consciously breathe while you're driving, and oddly enough, your concentration and your perception, is that the right word in this case, gets better as you drive. Lying in bed, insomnia, as I said before, that breathing, fabulous for that. Yeah.
Great, thank you. One of our members has just shared with us that for those interested in the Alexandra technique, the community pain clinics in Kent offer them, the NHS clinics. So if anyone was looking for that information. I think that's all the questions we have, unless anyone else wants to pop anything in. But we do have a lot of positive feedback coming through, and thank you. So thank you so much for the session, James.
Yeah, great. You're very, very welcome. I love it. So it's a joy to me.